Thomas. I'm the co-chair of the Equal Conference from the Women in Business Club here at the London Business School. And we're bringing you our flagship event virtually this year on the 4th and the 5th of March. The pandemic has affected us all, but the women have been hit particularly hard. And we've seen hard-fought gains on the gender equality front wiped out. And our aim is to get us back to where we were, to reverse the trend, to be back on a positive cycle. To do that, we'll firstly shine a light on how the pandemic has affected women particularly, and we'll explore what constitutes good leadership in the new normal. And through our panels and workshops, give our attendees the tools and inspiration they need to take action on their day-to-day. We have an exceptional lineup for an exceptional year with 20 panels, 60 speakers, split over 3 tracks, and 8 stellar keynotes, and a special address from Senator Elizabeth Warren. We're bringing you our biggest event in the history of the club by far. We will have several opening and closing talks at the beginning and end of each day, and action-packed half days with all the panels and the breaks that we have planned for you. Of course, we wouldn't be able to bring you this event at such a bargain price without the help and support from our sponsors. I want to thank you for your engagement on the gender equality front. It is heartening to see, and we look forward to making you proud with our event. We'll share with you in the chat the links and discount codes that you need to get your tickets and attend this historical edition. That was quite enough of that. Today we're here to give you a taste of our toolkit track. There's a restricted number of attendees for this particular track, and those of you who sign up for it will have the opportunity to get into workshop with seasoned trainers and coaches. Tonight we brought you my dear childhood friend Thibaut, who after a very rough, albeit successful transition into management, searched for meaning in his career. Found it in helping his clients perform at their best, be it top rugby athletes, supporting them in their transition from the youth team to the more demanding pro league, or with execs and their team, helping them navigate the uncertainty we have right now, and with which we're way too familiar. He's building his career around showing us our own potential and helping us achieve it. And without further ado, I'll leave him.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Thomas. Good evening, everybody. I hope you can hear me well. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, see the head. Thank you. Yes, so good evening, everybody. Before I start, just to tell you that if you have any questions, you have the chat, you can, or I mean, ask me your question. That's fine. If you have, I'll try and answer them as best as I can. So yes, Thomas said, I am an executive coach, a sophrologist, and a mental skill coach as well for athletes. So I work with athletes, young teenagers who want to become top athletes in their field, mainly rugby. That's because I did 15 years of rugby, so mainly in rugby. But I worked with tennis players, well, all kinds of sports, basically. And I work with companies with like managers and all them who want to as well find out their potential and grow in their career to be as successful and much as successful as possible as managers, and maybe become CEOs one day of their own companies. Why not? And I especially work with teenagers as well outside of sports, because everybody has potential, and when we're teenagers we're always asking ourselves, what will I become, what will I do later on, and we're always asked that type of question when we're pretty young, so it's always difficult to answer, to find the right answer. So yeah, I'm working with them as well, hopefully to give them tools. Basically they're the same tools that I give managers, teenagers, or athletes to find their potential and succeed in wherever they're going. to explain why I'm doing that job now, because I didn't do that. I've only been doing that job for the past 3 years. Before I was in sales, and one day it hit me. I was watching the Rugby World Cup in 2015, where the All Blacks won in England. And it struck me because I'm still a really big rugby fan. And when I was a teenager, I said, okay, I want to be a professional athlete in rugby. And I didn't manage because I didn't have the self-esteem and self-confidence to achieve that goal. So I put that aside, of course, decided to do something else. And during that World Cup 2015, I said, no, I'm missing something. I know I can't be an athlete anymore because I'm 35 now. So yeah, 6 years ago, I was 29, 30. I was way too old. So I said, okay, if I want to go in that in a World Cup or something like that, I need to do it, but another way. So that's why I went with the mental skill coach. And while I was working, I did a sophrology course during the weekend. And that's where I decided to shift my career. To do that, I asked the biggest question of all time is, why do I want to change? What's my main goal? Why did I want to go there? Once I found that, is basically help athletes to find their potential and live their dream, basically. And that's my why, my big why. My two main goals, just to let you on the inside, is to hopefully follow a team, be the mental skill coach for a rugby team for the Rugby World Cup in 2023 in France. And after that, in 2024, there's the Olympic Games in France. Crossing my fingers, but I'm doing everything I can to actually follow, follow an athlete and actually live the Olympic Games from the inside. That's my biggest dream. So I asked myself the biggest question, then I asked my wife that question. Okay, if I'm going through that, that means course on the weekend, then quitting my job with all the insecurity and all that. We have an apartment, a mortgage, we had a child, we have a daughter now. So my kid, Peter, is 4 and Emily is 1. She has to support us financially. So that was the big question. I had to involve her in that, which I did. And she brilliantly said, yes, of course, it's your dream, go on. I'm not saying that I am going to support financially for 10 years or 20 years. You'll have to, bring money and help the family one day, of course. I don't have a deadline, but I know that she has a career as well. So she's putting that on hold really nicely for me. And hopefully in 1 or 2 years, I'll be able to do the same for her. So basically what I had in mind, that's what's driving me all the time, is my why. Why did I shift my career? Why did I change? Because I had something in me that I wanted to go there, something missing I didn't have in my old job. And basically that's what I try and find or help my clients find if they're setting up a company, if they're teenagers or athletes, because we all know that athletes, they have a big why. It's basically a bit the same. They want to be the best. And for athletes, it's more really personal, is they want self recognition from their, family, from their sport, or even the world. If you want to be the best in the world, there's something that's missing that you want to be recognized by your peers, basically. So we try and find that. We're trying to work on that. What is your why? Why do you want to go there? Why do you want to sacrifice a lot to become the best? Because when I was a teenager, I always asked myself this question: why can an athlete, or why does a top athlete, or why is a top athlete the best? Because motivation, self-esteem, self-confidence, and he knows he can see his goal and he's never going to go somewhere else. He will go there whatever happens. Okay. And athletes, when they're injured, they work on themselves, and they know that when the injury is finished, when they recover, they're stronger than before, because they worked on their mental health and mental skills. Okay. And that's what was missing for me. So I was really, really always intrigued, why are athletes very, very strong at this self-confidence and all that? I haven't got the full answer yet. I'm still working on it, but I'm starting to find something. And then when I shifted my career, if I can say, from sports to the company, I was really interested in why CEOs and all that say, okay, I am going to sacrifice everything I have to pursue my dream. And we can talk about all the biggest companies, Google, Facebook, Apple, all of them. And even my neighbor, who had his own company, sacrificed a lot to pursue that dream. So I was always asking myself, why? And what do they have that I don't? Okay, so I was still pursuing this. And the more I work with them, the more I can find my the answer. And it's really it's difficult to explain. I was always trying to find scientific or mathematic equation that you have to fill in the blanks, and when you add this plus this plus this, okay, you have the global answer, which isn't the case. It's impossible. So the answer is basically when you find something that answers your values. Okay, for example, my values is to have sense of liberty and sense of autonomy. I work on my own. I don't have to answer to my boss. Basically, I only answer to myself and somewhere to my wife and family. Because if I don't bring money, we can't eat. Basically, okay, with my wife and myself. So basically, that is what I try to find with companies and athletes. What is your why? Why do you want to go there? Why do you want to sacrifice? Because an athlete, if he's a top athlete, he becomes a top athlete at 18, 20-year-old. He works since he's 12 or 13 maybe, and then he grows up like this. So he has, when he's 12 or 13 and we're playing video games, he's really mature. The athlete is very mature, men or women. They know exactly where they're going. So they have a sense of sacrifice that I would say non-top athletes have. And we work on that, okay? Because sacrificing something that when you're really young can be really what's the term now? It can be really frightening and really I mean, when you have a I can't find the word in English now. Very sorry about that. When you have failures, okay, it's really hard to move on. So keeping in mind the goal is what we work with athletes. Okay, there's your goal, but how do you go step by step? Okay, step by step. Building your self-confidence and your self-esteem is really, really important, because when you're young, you need that. And what we also work on is knowing yourself well. Okay, I know that sophrology helped me. I know that which I'm still doing, is therapy. Therapy helped me a lot, and it's still helping me. Knowing who I am, meaning what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. Okay, very important. How I work under stress. What happens when there's stress? I know that when there's a lot of stress, I'm the kind of person who's saying it's everybody's fault and not mine. So I'm learning to cope with that, etc. So with all athletes and companies, we work with that: self-esteem, self-recognition, of course, self-confidence, and knowing yourself well. Okay, and then bringing tools, because the purpose of all that is to be. I mean, if I'm a mental skill coach and I'm following an athlete during the Olympic Games, while he's competing, I'm not next to him. So he has to find the tools and use the proper tools on his own. So basically, that's what we work on. Okay. And it's really funny because I was preparing this conference, and I was listening to a podcast this afternoon from Lewis Holmes. I don't know if you know him. The School of Greatness. The last podcast is from today or yesterday, and he has a doctor. He's interviewing a doctor in 2 parts. We have part 1 that's online. Second part is, I think, tomorrow. And he's talking about stress. And he said something, I only listened to first 30 minutes because it's an hour long. And he said something very important to handle stress, and which enables you to actually see and keep your goal in mind a lot easier, it's to be in the present, okay? If you're in the future, especially now with the pandemic, the lockdown, etc., it's very, very complicated. If you're in the future, you're asking your question, a lot of question, what will I do? What will happen? What if I fail, etc. But if you're in the present, okay, here and now, you're not dealing with that. You're going step by step, okay? And that is the first thing I learned in sophrology. The first thing I'm trying to teach young athletes is don't think about the game in 3 weeks' time. Think about your training. What are you going to do with training today? What are you going to learn? Where are you going to be successful? Only today. And then we'll think about tomorrow, etc. And if you listen to athletes, they always say that they're taking game after game, one game at a time. Basically, it's the same. When I was in sales, you had to project yourself in 6 months or in a year with the turnover you want to bring in. But if you, and at the beginning of the year, say, oh, turnover is going to be so difficult to bring in. But if you go step by step, month by month, okay, I have to do this month, January, I have to bring in that much money, etc., etc. If you go step by step, it's a lot easier. And I'm sure if you do the same, you did the same with your career, okay? First high school, then college, then MBA, step by step, because MBA is probably just a step for you, okay? A big step, of course, but just a step. And that MBA is going to bring you somewhere. It's probably not going to be the step that brings you to your career, the end, well, the top of the career, but it's going to be a big step. So if you take that step by step, that is how you're going to succeed a lot easier or than probably others, okay, if they go way too fast. And that is what I learned for the past 3 years, because there's this stress of bringing money and sometimes you don't bring money, so you start asking yourself question, what did I do wrong, or why did I do that? I was more comfortable in my other job. I had a salary that was coming in, and now it's half of that, not even half of it, so it's really complicated. But the fact that if you go step by step, month by month, it's a lot easier, it's a lot more comforting, okay? Do you have any question for the moment? I'm probably going a bit too fast now. It's okay with everybody? All right, perfect. All right. Again, don't hesitate if you have any questions. I talked about a lot about sophrology, but I don't know if everybody knows what it is. So I'm going to take a few minutes just to present what it is, okay? And then I want to do an exercise, a sophrology exercise, so you actually know what it is, okay? Sophrology is a tool, okay, which you use breathing, you use take conscious of your body. That helps you be in the present, okay, not being the future, but actually being the present. And then we use another tool which we are going to use today is visualization, okay. I mean, to project yourself in the future succeeding, because that is one of the ingredient, if I can say, of self-esteem, okay. Visualizing, seeing yourself succeeding seeing yourself in the future succeeding. If you can do that, your self-esteem is good, okay. This is something I'm working on with students at the moment in a lecture I'm giving. Students who are going to be trainers in sports, is self-esteem and self-confidence, okay. If you see yourself in the future succeeding, the job is done, okay. If you have trouble seeing yourself succeeding in the future, you have to build up your self-esteem, okay. Building your self-esteem can be done by a lot of tools, therapy, hypnosis, whatever, okay. Meditation as well is very good, but how to build that is basically, we call that effective food, is try to have people around you who actually say good stuff about you, okay. Because if you have people saying bad stuff, they will pull you down. People saying good stuff will pull you up, basically, okay. It's your environment that is very, very important. That's why, in a way, if I'm succeeding in my job, it's my environment is stable and pulling me up, especially my kids and my wife, okay. Imagine if I came home every day and my wife said, no, your job is rubbish, you're doing everything wrong, it would be very difficult. That would be pulling me down. But I know that even if I struggle, my family is here to support me. That pulls me up, okay? That is effective food, all right? So sophrology can help you do that, okay? And yeah, basically that's it. And it was made up by a Spanish psychiatrist, a psychiatrist, sorry, who went all around the world in Asia and all that. He inspired that with Buddhism, Zen, meditation, and hypnosis, etc. That's how we made sophrology, okay? Do you have any question about sophrology before we go deeper into that? Okay?
If that's okay, I actually have
Yeah.
a question about the thing you said. For the LBS students in the audience, this is quite reminiscent of Interpersonal Dynamics by Professor Richard Jolly. So definitely recommend that course. If you're liking this session, you'll love the course. And I also, so I wanted to touch upon, you know, having to surround yourself, having that group of people that give you positivity, and also, you know, thinking you have that goal in mind, but also thinking it, you know, step by step and day by taking it day by day. It can be very hard when, you know, you have a lot of anxiety because the goal is huge. You know, whatever it is. I'm Cristiano Ronaldo and I really want Portugal to win the World Cup. How, you know, how do I do that? You know, that kind of situation. So how do you go about, you know, using that support network basically, but also not burdening them too much, because we also have to be mindful of them and like managing their anxiety and their stress levels, etc. So obviously it's about having that support group to help you, but you also need to help that support group. So how do you manage that balance? Do you have any pointers on that?
Yeah, well, yeah, good question, Thomas. Thank you. It's basically, if I can do that comparison, it's basically when it's your partner in life. It can be your best friends, because those kind of people, whenever you need them, they'll be there. It won't be a burden anymore. You know what I mean? It won't be. They won't do it because they have to. They will do it because they love doing it, and they love you, and they see that you're not happy in your life. So it's okay. I need to do something for him, or I need to ask him a question, or I'll simply be there for him. I don't know, probably drink a beer, and that'll help him ease out, and I don't know, say what he has in, say what he needs to say. It's I, um, it's like, yeah, unconditional love. When you love someone, or your best mate with someone, it's no matter their flaws or whatever, you still love them, and you still will be there for them, whatever happens. So basically, that environment has to. It's those kind of people. Basically, it's not people that are jealous of you or envy you. It's basically people that, even if you're shining more than them, they're still really happy for you. Even if you're more successful than them and they're really ambitious, they're still happy for you. It's the kind of people that you call them, I don't know, really late, and you just need to talk. Those kind of people that answer. Basically, yeah, that environment. It's people that, yeah, that won't see you as a burden, even though you need them on a regular basis. If that answers your question, Thomas. Perfect. All right, great. Having that surrounding isn't easy, because sometimes we find that our friends, our best friends, are the good people, but after a while, it's when you need them and they're not here, they're not showing up, that you tend to actually select a lot easier. And you would say to yourself, okay, I've been asking or crying for help for quite some time. He's not answering, or he doesn't listen to me. He probably has difficulty doing that, or he probably has problems of his own. But I mean, if even best friends, when we have problems of our own, we still find time, even a few minutes, to listen to our friends. So, and I mean, it can be friends, it can be in a couple, but for athletes, it can be a trainer as well. Okay. In a company, it can be a colleague, it can be a manager, it can be anybody who has that that ability to take time to actually listen to you. Okay. So it doesn't have to be a partner in life, it doesn't have to be friends or brother or sister or whatever. It can be somebody outside. Okay, a coach, a colleague, a manager, or in sports it can be somebody from the staff, I know, a physio, whatever. It can be whoever. Okay, whoever is available for you at any time, just to listen. Okay, so basically, and to listen, but to ask you the proper question to actually pull you up. Okay, not question that pull you down, say, oh, it's your fault, etc. No, okay, if you look at the situation, the problem in another angle, what happens? Okay, that's a good question, etc. Okay, it's that, or maybe a therapist can be someone who can help as well. Okay, or okay, I'm selling myself an executive coach, of course. he's here to show you show you different sides of the problem, not only the side that you see. Okay, so it's basically you surround yourself with the people that you suits you best. Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, so if you're up to it, yeah, we can do a small 10-minute session of sophrology. Just to let you know that the way it goes, you're going to sit down on your chair or in your sofa, wherever you are, in your bed. If you're in your bed, I don't mind. You're going to have your eyes closed and you're just
Thibaut, you're freezing there, and you dropped. Okay, you came back. You're on mute now.
there you go. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Now
Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened. It just logged out. Sorry.
I think Zoom just happened. I think that's what.
Okay, yeah. All right, perfect. So I was saying, you're gonna have your eyes closed and you're just going to listen to my voice. If there's any kind of discomfort, open your eyes and you can come back in the session if you want, or go out and, I don't know, take a drink or whatever, and then come back. Okay, you're free to do whatever you want. Okay, and at the end, what I like to do is, if you want, of course, there is no obligation, is to share what you saw and what you felt. And basically, we're going to do a session where you're going to see, well, you're going to project yourself, I don't know, at the end of your career or whenever you think it's suitable for you, and you're going to have some kind of audience in front of you. It can be your family, your colleagues, or I don't know, if you're doing conferences in front of 100 or 1,000 people, whatever you choose, you're free with doing that, and you're going to explain to them what you did, what was your plan or your steps. Basically, what was your steps to reach that goal. Okay, I'm not going to say more, and afterward, if you want to share, you can do it in the chat or by voice, but I'm going to leave you a few minutes to write everything down, because you might have ideas that actually pop up in your mind, in your subconscious. You're actually going to see them or maybe feel them. So I'll give you a few minutes to write them down, can help you. And then afterwards, you can share them if you want. Okay? If that is okay with everybody. All right. Perfect. Great. Okay.
How many minutes should we say, you think?
I don't know. It can last 5 to 10 minutes. How many minutes would you want to give me? It could be 10.
Right now we are writing down. We're writing down our objective. We're later in the career and we achieved our goals, and we're writing down what's happening, right?
You're writing down. First of all, you don't write anything. We're just going to do a session, and then in your mind, some goal will probably come up. It's probably the goal that you have in your career. So maybe another one will pop up, whatever. And then at the end, when at the end of a session, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes, etc. Then you can write everything down, so you don't lose all the ideas. Okay? And the session, yeah, will last, less than 10 minutes, I guess. Okay? All right, perfect. So if everybody's okay, you can sit down comfortably in your seat and close your eyes. Close your eyes to concentrate on yourself and only yourself, on your body, on the weight of your body on the chair. Okay, great. And you're going to breathe in, fill in your lungs, and you're going to blow out at your rhythm, calmly. We're going to do a second time. You breathe in, fill in your lungs, and breathe out. And you're going to do it a third time on your own when you're ready. And each of you might have a different pace. That's fine. Okay. And you're going to take a few seconds to concentrate on your breathing. But this time at your own pace, own rhythm. Perfect. And while you're breathing, you're going to relax your head, your shoulders, your arms. Maybe let them go, feel them lighter maybe. But also your back, your stomach, and all the lower body, legs, up to the feet. And you're going to let it go. Perfect. And relax. Okay. And while you have your eyes closed, you're going to project yourself, imagine yourself in a couple of years or maybe decades, up to you, when you're successful. And in front of you, you're going to have an audience of as many people as you want. It can be 5 or even more. The environment and the surroundings are up to you. Okay, they're up to you. You're perfect. And in front of that audience, you're going to explain your goal, your life goal, your main goal. But you're going to take your time and explain all the strategy that you used, maybe step by step, to actually go through and reach and achieve that goal. And you can take your time. Perfect. And if you want, you can explain all the details. Explain all the strategies, maybe the obstacles that you faced and how you overcame them. You can also explain all the strategies and maybe answer questions if there are any questions that pop up. Okay. Good. And what's very important, you're going to absorb all the, maybe all the smiles, all the love that you receive from your audience. That can build up your self-esteem, your self-confidence. And you're going to absorb that in your body, in your mind, so you won't forget it. And maybe it can show you how good you are, how successful you can be, how competent you can be, maybe even more. And especially to build up your self-esteem and your self-confidence. Very good. Okay. Okay. And once you're finished, you keeping your eyes closed, you can say whatever you want to the audience. You can thank them or something else. And once you've done that, keeping your eyes closed, you come back here in your room on your seat. And take a few seconds with your eyes closed to sum up what you saw, what you felt. Okay. And once you're ready with your eyes closed, you can start moving your feet, your toes, your feet, and going up on the legs, all the lower body. Start activating all your muscles. Then through your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your back, your neck, your head. If you want to stretch, you can stretch out. If you want to yawn, you can yawn. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you. All right. So first of all, before you lose any ideas you might have, write them down somewhere, piece of paper, computer, whatever. Take the notes, take a few seconds or a few minutes if you need. You can write down, what's really important is to write down the ideas, but then how you felt next to it. Maybe if there's sort of an emotion, that's good to do. That's how you're going to remember things, with the emotion, okay? So don't hesitate to write that down as well, okay? And of course now, in the chat or by turning the mic on, you can share if you want what you saw and what you felt. No obligation, of course, but you're more than welcome. Or if you have any questions, of course. Okay.
I guess this was a very personal experience.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
A little bit shy, so
Yeah.
Thibaut, do you have anything else for us today?
Well, no, that was mainly it. I hope I answered all your all you had in mind. If you didn't, you can ask me anything. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm extremely grateful, obviously, for you to come here, give us some of your time.
Great pleasure.
I wanted to point out that you will be attending the conference, obviously. So if there is some direct interactions that attendees today want to have with you, they can have it there. I also wanted to point out that we have giveaways on our Instagram and LinkedIn, in which they can win executive coaching sessions, and you're one of the executive coaches that is generously giving some of their time for this as well. So be on the lookout for that. Folks, I love the session and I hope that you loved it too. Thank you again, Thibaut. Margaret,
thank you.
Do you want to unmute? Very interesting comment. No? All right. So I just going to read her comment out loud. Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's Zoom for you, Zoom world for you. So her comment is, I imagine myself doing something completely different from what I do now. What does that mean something?
All right, great question. All right, perfect. First of all, I will be able to answer the question directly because in our job we don't give interpretation of what you're seeing. Okay, it is something very personal, but what we can do is work on that. Okay, if you need to be reassured, because that's what I'm feeling in your question, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, remember what you're doing is a step. The MBA is a step. Okay, maybe what you are doing now is just a step to what you're where you imagine yourself. Okay, so in that way, what I think basically I shouldn't be afraid, and I find that really interesting. Okay, because for me that means that, and I'm going to be very honest with you. Okay, is either probably you're in the wrong place and this is where you want to be. Okay, or maybe it's just a step. Okay, there can be a lot of different answers, but that is something that can be discussed in a session and in a coaching session of an hour. We only can discuss on that bit and we turn around on that. Okay, knowing your feeling, knowing your feeling about that is where you saw yourself. Was it somewhere you saw yourself? How did you feel? Did you feel confident, happy, sad? See, we can work on all that, and depending on how you felt, it can start giving an answer of what it means to you. Okay, so that's why that is something you can work on your side. Is what you saw, how did you feel with that? Okay, does it feel anxious? Does it feel good? Not at all. Where you saw yourself, how did you see yourself? Who was around you? Okay, uh, you talked about your daughters. How old were they if you saw them? I mean, we can show you that it was in 10, 15 years time, maybe next month, I don't know. But all that is, to be honest, I'm a bit frustrated because I'd love to talk with you for hours, not maybe hours, for a lot of minutes, just to see how you felt, and that can give you really a lot of insights and maybe start giving you answers of, is that a positive or negative thing you saw? I'm sure it's only positive, but we have to dig in to see all the positive.
Yeah, it was positive. So
All right,
I
perfect.
think I will explore it a little bit further.
Yeah,
Thank you
sure.
so much.
Oh, no problem, no problem. My pleasure. But yeah, again,
Mhm.
work on the feeling of what you saw, and try go deeper into that. That's the first thing I would do, and then yeah, see when it took place.
Okay,
If we can, yeah,
thanks.
no problem. It's my pleasure. I try and do my best in a few minutes.
Mhm.
But in an hour, we would have done a great session, believe me. Thank you very much for your time anyway. That was great. Thank you for your experience.
After experience, so Aileen, I'm going to read your comment out loud. Feel free to unmute and have a discussion here. So after experiencing several big life crises, I struggle to picture myself in my dream role. How can I overcome the situation?
Okay, perfect. I'm just reading it again. Okay. Um, what I found in what you're saying, there's something very positive, okay, and very brave, I would say, is that you said that you experienced several life crises. And what is really positive is that you're still here with us, okay, and you're doing an MBA. So basically, you're somebody who can overcome a lot of stuff, okay. So that is very positive. Um, but you're struggling to find yourself, you see yourself in dream roles. Um, basically, that's probably what we said. That's where I will work now, especially with athletes, is build your self-esteem. Okay, in a way, just in your comment, that's what I think we should work, or you should work, is your self-esteem, because life crisis is what it is. It pulls down people, okay? And you come out of that with a lot of wounds, okay? And you need to heal from those wounds. And basically, self-esteem will help you. And to do that, you need to surround yourself with the environment with a lot of love, okay? To build that foundation of self-esteem, okay? When that is with all that love in the environment, then you start seeing yourself succeeding, seeing yourself in the future succeeding, okay? It is really step by step. First of all, you need to heal, and to do that, you need to surround yourself with people that love you, okay? That believe in you. That's very, very important. But again, something that's very positive, and I'm not I have a lot of self-confidence in yourself just by that comment, because when you said that you experience several life crises, that means you, in a way, you overcame them, okay? So saying that, knowing that you overcame them, I'm sure you will overcome those struggles where you can't picture yourself in your dream role, okay? You will be able to do it. It just takes a bit of time. Or maybe what you can work on as well is the definition of dream role. What is a dream role for you? Maybe it's unclear. That's why you cannot see yourself in a dream role, okay? Dream role, is it in a career, in a company? Is it in a way of life? Is it in a country? Is it with family, or whatever, okay? That's also something that can be determined. Is dream role isn't always the dream job, okay? Or being the top manager. It can be maybe a top manager, but to be 100% happy, I need to have a family, or I need to be in a country, or I don't know, the environment, or I need to live by the mountain or by the sea. I don't know, okay? It's the whole environment, okay? So I don't know, Aileen, if that answers a bit of your question or not.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, perfect, no problem, Aileen. Thank you very much. Okay. But I'm sure you will find it, don't worry. I have no worries at all. Okay.
Do we have any other comments, guys? Feel free. This is your moment here. All right.
Just one last thing, Thomas. Sorry, I'm somebody who's very optimistic. So whatever the situation, there's always a positive situation. Okay, there's always something good to take out of any situation. In saying that, I know that everybody. That's one of my baselines in all across my website. Everybody has a potential, and it only takes a bit of time to actually find each other or our self potential. And once you find it, life is a lot easier and a lot better, believe me. And I know that you're on the right path, so good. I'm really happy for you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Thibaut. That's a wonderful way to wrap this up. Guys,
you.
Again, if you want to win a free executive coaching session with Thibaut, we have our giveaways. Be on the lookout in our LinkedIn and Instagram. We have an exceptional lineup this year on the Equal Conference, and Thibaut will be attending. There's only good reasons to get tickets, so do that.
Nice
you all there. And in the meantime, have a very great evening, and talk to you guys all soon.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Take care.